Okay, so I'm a lapsed Catholic, meaning that I was Catholic, but then, well, for me, all the scandals with the church happened, and I researched it a great deal and came to the conclusion that the corruption goes all the way to the Vatican, because if you just read the Archbishop Vitigilo, his letter, um, at great expense to his own career as an archbishop and to the great ire of all his superiors who want to destroy him, he published evidence that Pope Francis helped cover up, or made allegations that Pope Francis covered up pedophilia, but Pope Francis never answered to those allegations. And yeah, like how else did this corruption go on for so long, and how has it never been addressed by the Pope, except for the fact that the Pope most likely was helping to cover it up because at the top of the Vatican is a bunch of the psychopathic pedophiles that also are in our government controlling things and went to Epstein Island, and why can't we arrest them? I knew we couldn't arrest them because one, it would be an international relations incident. There's Saudi Arabian princes, prime ministers, and billionaires on there, and they would all say it's fake and put 1,000% tariffs on the United States and say Trump is just using this to go after his political enemies. Blah blah blah. Okay, Trump is not the solution to making America great again. He's the beginning to waking people's eyes up to using common sense, but we need to make education great again. Because then you get attach money to the kids instead of sending them to government re-education camps where they'll be indoctrinated with a left-wing ideology. You get to choose which school your kid goes to. You get a grant attached to them. I'd like to prevent just have free market education, get rid of all government involvement in education whatsoever, but that's a pipe dream. Maybe one day. But in the meantime, let's just attach grants to the kids. So the $20,000 a year we spend at public schools on each student, just attach $10,000 to each student so they can go to any school they want. So if 30 school students go to a school, that school will get $300,000 a year in revenue. So one teacher could start their own school and have 30 students teach them, and after paying for the office space or whatever space they use, and for expenses and all that, probably make around $150,000 a year. If they're good enough to have 30 students in like an office space and do a better job in that bigger school. And so you would have all this diversity in education. Any entrepreneur could start a school with a new paradigm. Any teacher, any parent could start a school, and if they can convince the other parents to send their kids to that school, they get that grant money. The state will have to accredit schools, but make sure that state body that accredits schools doesn't go after the Christian schools and say, you're teaching Christianity, therefore you don't get the government grant. We can't have that. That's why I don't even like the idea of school choice where there's a grant, because then the government controls that grant and it has to accredit the schools. But there's a certain thing like how would we prevent the money from being abused? Good point, which is why the government shouldn't be involved at all. But the solution is not immediately to go to a free market education where instead of paying your property taxes, you just keep your money and you decide whether or not you want to send your kid to secondary school or not, and get rid of the mandatory attendance of secondary school and go all the way back to where we were 100 years ago. Eventually, we'll get back there. Before we can get all the way back there, baby steps. We're going to have to start with school choice. Just instead of the $20,000 per year on a student, attach $10,000 to each student, let them go to any school they want within reason, and have an innovation and entrepreneurship. And I'll talk about the type of changes we want to see in education, like in terms of teaching students how to pursue the logos, logic, and evidence, to study public policy issues like gun control so they can find out that all the empirical evidence on gun control show it does not work, but in fact gun control increases violent crime. And they can also understand the logic of what does gun control do? Take guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens, and what do criminals do? Oh, they just start doing more gun trafficking and buying more guns illegally, so they stay armed because they're criminals. They don't care about gun control laws. Oh, that makes sense. And you can debate that further and further. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am because all the evidence shows that I'm right. Um, Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, you could point out the Rand Corporation study that came out after scientists gave up on objective truth, and once they bought into postmodernism, where there's no objective truth, just just all arguments, and we're all just arguing for power, and there's no objective reality. Like I think that door behind me is there, but to you it could be a penguin, and that's postmodernism for you. In your lived experience, that door could be a penguin. Who am I to say it's not? Well, I'm going to say, objectively speaking, I'm quite certain that door is there, and if you don't think there's a door there, we can't even have a conversation. You can't have a conversation with postmodernists. It's just impossible. And the colleges and the schools are teaching them that there's no objective truth. They've gone beyond just making them hate Christianity and hate conservatives and hate capitalism and love socialism. They're making them hate the truth and not even be willing to listen to people they disagree with because they can't tell them anything because there's no objective truth. We have to do something about this. Anyway, I'm gonna get to work. I gotta stop making these videos off the cuff and actually start preparing for them and put work into them, but I don't have the time for that. It will only take like 5 minutes of prep to make a really high quality 5 minute video. Alright, I guess I'll start actually putting work into these videos and doing green screens and all that. And first I have to be productive, and then I'll reward myself with creative work. But it would be more important. There's other creative work that would be of more importance than creating videos on TikTok. Since TikTok is not the best platform for me anyway. Regardless. Well, yeah, I guess I'll start Mega after I start my new job and after I move. But I'd like to start now. Make education great again. I'd like to start now. But we'll see. I gotta finish the business plan, the marketing plan, finish revising. The pamphlets ready to hand out whenever. I can start handing those pamphlets out whenever and start canvassing and start a nonprofit and all that and do everything I need to promote it. I know I'll catch on like wildfire with the ideas I have to promote it, but yeah, first secure my career in marketing so I can learn marketing even more effectively, so I can market the truth more effectively, market logic more effectively, market the logos more effectively, and market Christianity more effectively. The Chosen was ingenious marketing for Jesus. It made me fall back in love with Jesus Christ, and made me want to start reading the New Testament again. And I know that silly TV show you brought you back to Jesus. Who cares what brings you back to God? Whatever works, works. We should have more shows like The Chosen. People are like, oh no, The Chosen was bad because it didn't 100% ascribe to the Bible. I agree, it should have 100% stayed true to the Bible. But they took some artistic liberties, and some people consider that blasphemy. But if the end result is more people are interested in Christianity, and some of them are confused because, like, Simon's wife did not have a miscarriage in the New Testament. That never happened, but it was added to the show. And I think the scene between him and his wife was really well done. Between the scene between him and Jesus, where Jesus was walking on water for no apparent reason, I guess to make Simon walk on water, which did not happen in the Bible. But whatever. It doesn't matter because people will find out when they go to church or talk to real Christians that didn't happen, because every Christian who's in the know watched The Chosen, so they could tell people who watched The Chosen what is in the Bible and what's not, and also because they knew that people who like The Chosen might be willing to actually go to church, and they were ready to talk about how great the show was. But hey, listen, the New Testament's even better, yada yada yada. So like, we need to promote Christ more effectively. We need to make America great again, make education great again, and we need to make America Christian again. But there's no great you don't get like MAGA, MEGA, and Make America Christian Again. MACA, Make America Christian Again. MACA, yeah, MACA doesn't really roll off the tongue. So unfortunately, we'll just have to stick with MAGA, Make America Great Again, and MEGA, Make Education Great Again. But we definitely need to make America Christian again, because Christianity is the foundation. The daily Christian ethic is the foundation of society, and without Christianity as the foundation of our ethical systems, we all just believe the ends justify the means, which is not good.